I tried to make it look like the real snake from which it is inspired, Immentodes inornatus. In real life, the snakes are able to kind of like open their jaw bigger than what it seems to be at first. So I still tried to make the mold fit an egg, and a very well hydrated egg. The 3 different snakes that we currently work with all have very different feeding behaviors, with Leptophis, which is the parrot snake, being the most intense or most fast and taking several eggs at a time. The second intense is Leptodyra, which does take several eggs at a time but is not as fast. And then the least intense is Immentodes, spaghetti snake. And this is what the puppet is modeled after, which basically takes 1 egg at a time very slowly. The way we've designed this experiment is that we're trying to control for intensity. So snakes, at least the way I've categorized them, have 3 different intensities in terms of attack, or rather in terms of stimuli. So the first intensity, which is qualified as the least vibration induced onto the clutch, is just a tongue flick. So the snake will flick its tongue on the clutch, and that's usually a very rapid, not at all intense vibration that doesn't really move throughout the clutch. Whereas then the second intensity is a body graze, which is just like it sounds. It's just the snake's body touching different eggs on the clutch as it moves. So it's grazing the clutch. However, it's not actually attacking the clutch. So this actually is considered tactile vibrations onto whichever eggs it's directly contacting. And then the third intensity, which is considered the most intense, is actual feeding. So that's when the snake opens its mouth and chews on the clutch or bites the clutch. And this intensity is usually the most intense because the snake has a very stereotypical feeding behavior, which jiggles the clutch the most. And this can be seen like very easily and distinctly from the rest of the vibrations. So we went with the simplest kind of snake out of the bunch, Immentodes, which plucks 1 egg at a time so that we can have a simpler analysis. So we give a 5-minute acclimation period once we put the clutch on the tray. So that's called like the setup acclimation period, which is to basically remove all history or memory that the embryo is experiencing of any vibration, so that we can make sure that when we are attacking, that the embryo is basically starting as a clean slate in terms of the vibration that it feels. The embryo memory is only goes so far back in time. And then we do a 5-minute post period, post puppetry or post attack, so that we can count how many embryos hatched within those 5 minutes, because maybe they took a moment to decide to hatch after the puppetry was done.
How effective is the snake puppet in providing data?
I think it is effective because, for example, for the 5-day clutches that we're doing, we're seeing a lot of hatching within the first 2 or 3 attacks from the puppet, which is relatively the same response to a real snake attack. The only real difference is that because the snake attack for puppetry is simpler, the 4 days are taking a lot longer to respond or not even hatching at all.
Regardless, now you have enough data with these snakes, so you'll be releasing them to the wild.